Bueno, vamos a jugar al Stanley Imparable, un juego que la verdad que no tengo ni idea de qué se trata. Sé que es medio de que rompe la cuarta pared y todas esas cosas full raras, pero no tengo ni idea qué puedo hacer en el juego.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley
worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number
427, exactamente 427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons.
Yo, literalmente yo.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Ah, una repaja
This
el
is
trabajo.
what
Sí.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Ok.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had
Está
this
solo.
this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
No podía moverse.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Hola, me estoy moviendo. Locura. Hola. Va medio lag,
His
¿no?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
¿Qué podía
Stanley
hacer?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, no hay absolutamente nada. ¿Por qué me abren todas las puertas? Yo quiero abrir mis propias puertas. Yo lo quiero hacer a mi manera. Parece que todos dejaron todo así nomás y se fueron.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Pará, ¿por qué me estás diciendo exactamente que entre a la de la izquierda? ¿Por qué me estás diciendo que entre exactamente a la de la izquierda? ¿Le hago caso o lo hago a mi manera? Yo también hubiera pasado por la izquierda igual. Yo me hubiera ido derechito a la izquierda. Bueno, voy a seguir mi instinto y me voy a ir a la izquierda. Sí, porque
Yet there was not a single person here either.
ok.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Este lo puedo abrir.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Y si no quiero? ¿Y si me encierro?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Pero yo quiero estar acá,
Reason to still be here.
Stanley era feliz tocando botones, yo soy feliz viendo cintas.
It was
Soy feliz así.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As
Bueno.
it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Bueno, ¿algún problema tenés conmigo? ¿No puedo hacer lo que yo quiera? Bueno, chao.
Are you really still in the broom
Sí.
closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
No te puedo escribir porque puedo, no me estás escuchando, porque puedo, Bueno, ya está, me fui, me aburrí. Ah, picado el jefe,
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Okay.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
¿Y si verdaderamente no lo sé? Ok, yo no
Stanley
sé.
just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Sí.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
A ver, voy a poner 111. Voy a ir probando una por una. Va a llegar un punto en que...
Stanley simply began entering random codes in 2845.
¿Por qué me la pusiste en rojo? Está bien, te hago caso.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to
Por mera
input the
suerte,
correct
completa.
code by sheer luck. Amazing.
¿Por qué esto me hace acordar al super minimal, super mínimo? Siento que ahora va inclusive más lag. Dale, ¿qué me vas a mostrar ahora?
Deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
¿Qué?
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question.
Quiero cuestionar la naturaleza. ¿Me está dando una lección de vida?
This when for hours it had never occurred to him. This question would not go unanswered for long.
Me está dando una lección de vida que tengo que seguir mi propio camino e hice
Stanley
mal.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Facilidad de control mental, pero chupame el pene. Ay, pero chupame el pene. ¿Qué pedo en ahí? Esa es una computadora, la computadora del principio. Si entro acá, me va a controlar la mente y me va a decir, perdiste, pelotudito, no tenías que hacer eso, así que voy a escapar. Yo confío. Ay, es muy largo el pasillo. Fue.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ok. A Weasley en el portal le dijeron lo mismo,
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Pero amenazame bien la concha de tu madre y decime, pará o te voy a ir a buscar. No puedo dejar que me controle la mente. ¡Oh! No me gustó nada esa apertura épica. Es un salto de fe. Ok. Está bien. No pasó nada malo. No tenía miedo. No tenía miedo que me aparezca un screamer. Ni me pinta esta,
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
Me está diciendo que no sirve de nada, Bueno.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body.
¿Y vos quién sos?
Instantly.
¿Me morí o no? ¡No morí! ¡No! ¡Qué piola! De
And
Stanley.
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
A ver, vamos a hacer otro final.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿Qué pasa si veo la puerta de la derecha,
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Que no, sí, viste, soy un capo, amigo.
Not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
No,
I'm not asking... What? Really?
no quiero.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Sí, boludo, sí.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Le sigo sin hacer caso. ¿Qué?
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Por la puerta red.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ok, no me estaría gustando absolutamente nada, che.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Ok, no te dejo detenerme. Nothing.
You see? There's nothing here.
Ni siquiera
I
texturas.
didn't even finish building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken
Texturas
ruins,
de
exposed
desarrolladores
developer
puestas. ¿Qué es lo que
textures.
querías?
Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did.
Perdón.
What did you want to see? Vehicles?
Sí,
Skill
no,
trees?
vehículos,
Work
vehículos.
with me, you give me absolutely nothing so
Disparos,
far.
tiros.
Tell you what.
Disparos por acá, disparos por allá, eso quiero.
A new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go.
Ah.
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Middle, tenés razón, Galo. Ah, muy
Okay,
épico. Bueno,
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version.
un 4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version.
Okay.
And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Estos son estadísticas, what the fuck. Solo los 3 peores jugadores eligieron la puerta azul.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep
Sí, un 5. Competencia un 5.
honest answers?
Aguante la competencia.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it
Okay.
some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Sí, dale, yo no tengo problema.
Boot it up.
Dale.
In this
Me asusté.
The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right.
Okay.
And if he reaches the fire, you fail. You heartless bastard.
Descorazonado bastardo. No,
Okay,
pero está
since
bueno
my
el juego.
game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
¡Eh! ¡Eh!
Stanley, is this any better?
Sí.
At last, I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. Yes.
Sí.
It's complete.
Está precioso, hermano. Buena
Look
obra.
at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
Sí, porque no puedo hacer nada.
inadequacy. Isn't
Amigo,
it
es una locura.
perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
Dale, vamos a minar. Yo no tengo ningún problema.
Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Vamos.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. You brought a
No,
light?
no traje ninguna luz,
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear.
Pero...
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
Ok. Che. Le pintó de cargar toda la biblioteca de tema al pibe de la nada. Sí.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love
Ahora sí.
you, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself.
Sí,
What
qué
is
buen
this
juego.
game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's
Dale,
go
revoleame.
find out what the
Gracias.
hell this is.
¿Alguien me da una cosa de portales?
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty.
No.
I really don't care much to see you stumble through anymore.
Yo me revolé nazi, no escuché ni lo que dijo. Supongo que por acá me caigo, así que no me voy a ir acá donde está la flecha. Y acá también me caí. No me gustó nada. No me gustó una mierda. Oh no, amigo, la concha de tu madre, ¿dónde estás? Concha de tu madre, yo te quería, me gustaba escucharte, jugar al Minecraft, ver tu mina, ver tu casa. ¿Dónde estás? Dale, ¿qué tengo que hacer acá? Estoy tocando todos los botones, sácame de acá. Sácame de acá, por favor. Déjame salir. Pero déjame salir. No quiero. Me dio mucho miedo. Perdón, fue muy cagón de mi parte.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it.
Donde sea que se encuentre ahora,
Wherever he is right
seguramente.
now. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's
¿Qué
who
me estás
I
diciendo?
am. That is what I mean to this world. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ok, no entendí nada. Ok, no me dio ningún final. Bueno, está bueno el juego, ¿eh?
Man, I get stuck. I had these thoughts in my mind, like goddamn, why she ain't mine? Or should I just stop trying to give a fuck about these obvious lies? So I just stay in the sky so that